I've had this mill for about 2 years now. It's a JMD-18 round column mill. And the disadvantage of a round column mill is if you have to move the mill head up in the middle of a project, it loses its position. I paid extra for the stand that goes with the mill, and it's got a storage space underneath. The first thing I did was buy an auto feed for the X-axis and a DRO. It was a cheap DRO, but it works good. It's got glass scales, and the one I bought was the 6, 12, and 24-inch scales, and that worked out perfect for this mill. It came with all the mounting brackets, so I just drilled and tapped the side of the mill and attached the arm for the readout. I mounted the 24-inch scale on the back side of the milling table. I used 1.5 by 2.5 aluminum angle for the cover for the scale. To attach the cover to the scale, I made these little brackets in the milling machine. And they fit in the slot on each end of the scale. I made them a little bit shorter than the scale, so when you anchor the cover onto the scale, it pulls down tight. The DRO system came with covers, but I couldn't figure out a way to make them work on my milling machine. I wish I would have made a detailed video on how I install these on the milling machine, but it was before I decided to make YouTube videos. This is where I mounted the 12-inch Y-axis scale. The first thing I did was bolt a piece of 1/4-inch aluminum that's 2 inches wide and 18 inches long to the side of the Y-axis portion of the mill, and then I used washers and a dial indicator to make sure it ran true. I had to make up my own brackets for the reader because it's mounted on like a taper at the base of the mill. The aluminum plate is threaded for the 4 socket head screws, and I use them to push against the side of the mill, and then the hex head screws keep it tight so I can adjust, fine-tune it and adjust it so the reader is in the correct position for the scale. The mill came with this plastic cover and a adjustable quill stop for the Z-axis. I removed the plastic cover and made a aluminum cover out of a piece of 1/4-inch aluminum plate, and it's anchored to the mill with 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch aluminum angle. I ordered a 12-inch long steel shaft that's 1/2 inch in diameter, that's certified a 1/2 inch, and then a oil impregnated bronze sleeve. The hole in the fixed portion of the mill head was just a cast hole, so I had to press the bronze bushing into an aluminum plate and then machine it so it would fit on the portion of the mill. I had to machine the 1/2 inch steel shaft to fit the scale, and then made brackets to attach it to the scale. And then the reader is attached to the aluminum plate that I mounted on the face of the mill. Next, I'm going to make a adjustable quill stop to fit the 1/2 inch rod. I'm using a piece of scrap aluminum round stock. It's just rough cut round stock, so I'm going to get it as close as I can with the dial indicator. Here I just mounted a pointer in the drill chuck just to get a general idea where I want to put the screw that's going to attach the collar. And now I'll use the edge finder to find the center of the collar. Now I'm using a 1/4 inch end mill to countersink a hole for the cap screw. The clamping screw has got 10/24 threads, so without moving anything, I'm going to drill a hole all the way through with a drill bit that's the proper size for the 10/24 tap. Now I'm going to split 1/2 of the collar. Now I need to enlarge the diameter of the hole to match the outside diameter of the screw, but only halfway through the collar. Now I can tap the other half of the collar. Before I tighten everything, there's a gauge that came with the DRO set that sets the reader at the proper distance for the scale. So I'll use that and then tighten everything up and then remove it.